to the Division build with Chuck. So as most of you probably know, I have trouble completing sentences a lot of the time, so just bear with me as I go through all of this in the video. Basically, I'm just making this video to show you my build and how different stats affect different things and what I try to aim for, and hopefully someone can get some helpful information out of my dumb ass. So, first thing I'll talk about, I guess, is just I'm gonna go over my overall stats real quick. So right now, I usually use this is a high-end First Wave M1A, along with the Vector that you can buy from the Phoenix Blueprint guy and craft as many of them as you want. And so right now with my stats, on my M1A, I'm sitting at 105 DPS, which it seems kind of low, but for a marksman rifle, it's not at all. You're looking more at the damage per shot, which I'll get into in a little bit. And on my submachine gun right now, I'm sitting at just almost halfway to 166,000, so I'm very happy with that number. That was what I was aiming for. I wanted to try to have something above 160, and so getting 165 was just even more amazing. And then if you go over and you see my health right now is nearing 87,000, which is a good bit of health. When I first started doing the challenges and all that, I was probably running between 50 to 60,000 health, and you can definitely notice a difference with the higher health. And my skill power right now is at nearly 22,000. And then also, not only that, you can look at just my firearms and my stamina stats. So right now I have 2382 into firearms, 2894 into stamina, and only 1168 into electronics. But I'll show you in a minute how I have that much skill power with that low of electronics. So first thing I'll talk about now is the weapons. So I'm going to talk about marksman rifle. I really love using the marksman rifles in this game. Very, very accurate, deal lots of damage. And as I said before, DPS can be a little misleading. As you see, my DPS just magically changed from 105 to 131 when I opened up my menu. That will happen from time to time. But so as I said, the damage per shot is more what you're looking for. And this puppy right here does 42,000 per shot. And as you see, the headshot damage is going to be multiplied by 154%. And then let me just go over the talents real quick on this gun. I got super freaking lucky in this gun, like a probably 1 in 10 million drop. Thank you, Barnabas and Spoonkin, for helping me extract this out the dark zone. So I got a First Wave M1A with balanced, which the weapon reaches max accuracy faster when shouldering, which I'll demonstrate here in a minute. And it also came with destructive, which is a talent I like a lot. When you're facing any type of enemy with armor, such as any level 30s or 32s in the challenge mode, they're little white armor bars. When you're shooting them when they have the armor, you're going to actually be doing 18% more damage against the armor, which is really nice. That does not at all affect how much damage you'll do to a player. Armor destruction has nothing to do with the armor mitigation of players, so it's not very helpful for doing PvP, going rogue, but it's great for just, going through the challenges and the incursions that are going to be coming up here soon. And then it also has restored, which I can be honest, I don't really care about. Killing a target with this weapon removes all negative status effects. First of all, most status effects you can't even shoot during, and the ones I can, I'll be lucky if I can kill someone with the sniper rifle. So, and I guess I'll go over the mods real quick that I use on this gun. So start with my scope here. I went for one that gave me some bonus headshot damage. As you can see, it also came with 20.5% accuracy, which, to be honest, I would have liked. I could get something better with like headshot damage and critical hit chance or something. Because with balance, the accuracy comes. I'll demonstrate in a minute. Accuracy becomes not as excuse me, as important when you have a weapon with balanced. And on this gun also, I use a magazine that gives me an extra 8 bullets. The normal mag size for an M1A is 10 rounds, and then I also use one that gives me a base weapon damage of 12.5%. So that's added to the base damage. If I didn't have that magazine on, the number would be a little lower than 42k per shot right there. And then for my grip, I use something with stability. I think having stability is really important on a sniper rifle, especially if you're wanting to tag lots of headshots back to back together. Again, this is something that added more accuracy, which I've been trying to get some other stuff, but I guess having a little bit more can't hurt. And then here I have this muzzle brake. And all of the extended magazine, the gold, this close quarters battle scope, and the muzzle brake. These are all blueprints that I bought from the Phoenix Credits vendor in the Tech Wing, and that I've built, and I've used these mods probably on almost all my weapons, different variations. So the muzzle brake on here gives me added stability and added critical hit chance, which is nice because I have really low critical chance with this gun. But with the pulse, it kind of makes up for it, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And I'll just go over my vector as well. Occasionally, I like to use this MP5. I like using this if I'm gonna go rogue or try and hunt down rogues, because it has a magazine of 63 with the extended mag. Has a little less DPS and everything than the vector, but I like having the 63 rounds. It comes in very handy when you're trying to shoot other players. But mostly I use the vector here that I crafted. I've crafted many vectors, and this is my favorite one that I've gotten so far. It rolled with 25.5% critical hit chance, which is pretty high. I've had ones roll as low as 25 or 21. So, and every little bit of critical hit chance that you can add to your weapons is going to raise your DPS, and obviously because you're going to have better chance of doing critical damage and everything. And so this one came with Swift. Reloading is 13% faster. I could have probably gotten a better talent there, but it is nice having the faster reload. The two perks that really make this gun what I really like it is deadly. Critical hit damage increased by 26%. I think most people try to aim to have that on their gun, and also the one I think it's called brutal, which is like headshot damage increased by the same amount. If this was my perfect weapon, I'd probably have brutal up there instead of swift, but I'll take what I can get. And then again on this gun, I got lucky and got the destruction. So I get armor value increased when using this weapon, which is super nice. And let's go and look at some stats on the gun. So first I'm going to use my M1A here. And you can use R1 to tab over to look at your character sheet, which is going to have all of your stats listed, your resistance, everything like that. So let's see. So as you can see, my critical hit chance is only 18% with my M1A, which is not very high at all. With that, I'm probably not going to be doing very much critical shots. But the other side of that coin is that usually when I'm playing in a squad, we have a constant pulse going. And so with the pulse that I use, I think it brings the critical hit chance up to somewhere over like 50%, which is really decent. Their critical chance right now is capped in this game at 60%. You cannot go above 60%, even if you had the pulses or everything. You're not gonna be able to go higher than 60%. Critical hit damage on this weapon is plus 76%, which I could probably do better, but I sacrificed some critical damage for some different things on my armor, which I'll go over in a bit. Headshot damage. This is really the bread and butter of Marksman rifles, is their headshot damage. It does 226% headshot damage, which is really nice. So let's take a little test of the M1A real quick. So this is the M1A, and let me give you a demonstration of the balance talent. So when you bring it up to fire, you'll notice that the reticle moves to the smallest part very quickly. And with the balance, you shoot, and as you can see, the reticle barely moves, and so it's easy for you just have to adjust for the stability, and you can just tag headshots back to back. And so as you can see, the balance out helps a lot, and I'm just gonna shoot here just so I can see the numbers a little better. So the base damage for this gun is 42,000, but when I do a headshot, it's 115 with all the multipliers and everything. And let's see if I can hit a critical here. Critical, just with that, is 203,000, which is really nice. And these targets here, they don't show anything, they don't demonstrate the armor. So if I was actually shooting an enemy with armor, those numbers would actually be just even a bit higher. So let's talk about my vector real quick. Let me equip that. So my vector, I have a critical chance of 43.5, which isn't bad. It's not the best, obviously, if you can get it up to 60. But as I said, I make up for that with the pulses. Critical damage on this is 134%, which is good. I've had it higher before, but I've sacrificed critical damage for some stuff to raise my skill power and health. I wanted to go for more of a balanced build than a pure DPS build. And it says headshot damage is only 22%. For submachine gun, or for this submachine gun, because I think I have a mod on there. I need to go over the mods. But that's, I don't know if that's actually right, because when you do a headshot with this gun, let's see. Okay, so normally this thing is hitting, this thing's hitting for 11.7k, we'll say. But if you do a headshot, well, that's not critical, it hits for 20. So it's obviously more than a 22% bonus there. But so let me just go over the mods very quickly here on my vector that I like. So on this one, I have a small RDS scope. This is a blueprint that I purchased in Dark Zone. You have to be rank 50, and it requires gold division tech, which is the bane of my existence right now, to craft. But I managed to get one that added some headshot damage right there. That's where you're seeing that 22%, I believe. Actually, is from this. They round up, or I don't know. Disclaimer, everything that I say may not be 100% true. I'm just going based on what I've learned and the way too much time I've put into this game so far. So with this scope, I get bonus headshot damage and bonus critical hit chance. I think getting as much critical hit chance on your submachine guns is a great way to go, because it's going to do even more damage and tear through them. My extended magazine on this one, I have one that gives me 39. I've been hunting for that 100% one so I can get 40, but I haven't gotten one with a good roll yet. And again, on this gun, I use one that gives me weapon damage, so that's just base damage to my shots. A lot of people like to use. Let's see, I know I have one somewhere. A lot of people like to use an extended magazine type, such as this one. That gives you an extended rate, or a higher rate of fire. As you can see, it would take my rounds per minute up to 953. And it raises my DPS slightly to 170, 5,000. But on this gun at least, because it only has 39 rounds, I do not like the higher rate of fire magazines, because if I'm shooting something, this thing only has 39 rounds. Let's say I'm trying to shoot a moving target, and he gets past me. If I have the high rate of fire magazine on, I'm probably gonna miss about half the magazine. I'll show you real quickly how the high rate of fire works. Let's see. So with this, as you can see, it obviously shreds through them very quickly. But my problem is, a lot of times, I'll be moving, trying to shoot something, and if I miss, boom, I just missed over half the magazine. It may be an exaggeration. Some people are probably better shots than me, but I prefer the weapon damage one. So I actually do use that magazine, however, on my MP5, just for the fact that it has a 63 round mag. So I feel like I have a little bit of leeway there if